everybody. Thanks for joining the Citrix Ready Virtual Partner Pavilion here at HIMSS. My name is Nitin Sharma. I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager with Citrix, focusing underneath the Virtual Apps and Desktops umbrella. I'm joined by Brad, and I'm going to let you say your last name because I don't want to mispronounce it there.
No worries. Yeah. So my name is Brad Generu, Medical Imaging and Smart Hospitals Alliance Manager with NVIDIA. Great to be here.
Thanks, Brad. So, I just wanted to kind of chime in here, and one of the things is for all the folks that are viewing this, talking about our relationship and our partnership that Citrix and NVIDIA has had over the several decades now. I mean, Citrix has worked very closely with NVIDIA on ensuring that our customers are having the most optimized and optimal experience, specifically in the healthcare setting. We do have a number of customers that have voiced the value that we brought to them. Mostly the main focus, I would say, is on how we've improved the actual clinical experience. We understand that the clinical role is very important within the hospital, obviously, but it's also ensuring that they're having access to all of the information, the applications, data like imaging and stuff like that is very close to a local-like experience, as well as the ability to allow them to move from device to device. So, when we talk about from a Citrix perspective, we look at improving the end user experience, and that's on top of what we already bring from the data center side, and also now as customers are moving to the cloud. But most of the thing is, if we can't improve healthcare, specifically clinical access, without improving the main thing is ensuring our doctors and their clinical staff are actually able to be productive, but also access the information quickly and seamlessly. So that's like one of the important value that Citrix and NVIDIA has worked together and brought to the healthcare space.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Better together is really, the most important thing here. It's one thing is about a seamless experience, access to information, access to the clinical applications, but also that user experience. And it is critically important that the clinicians, the nurses, the techs, all the support staff that help drive clinical care have access in real time to that information as they're delivering services to patients. And so, one of the things that we work very closely with Citrix on is our virtual GPU solutions for virtual apps and desktops. And that provides graphic accelerated workspaces for all these different clinicians to access whatever the applications are in the hospital space. So whether it's EMR applications, whether it's PACS or RIS or pharmacy or nurse call or dictation software, anything that clinicians are using to help deliver clinical care. This also includes all of the suite of business applications. So Outlook, collaboration software, anything that they need to help drive the business of delivering hospital services with a consistent user experience.
Cool, thanks, Fred. And then, just to kind of hit on that, we work together on a number of customers. I know one of them is Turo Dental. That's something that's publicly, for folks on the call, they can just Google Citrix, NVIDIA, and Turo Dental, and you could probably pull that up. It's a really great story about how we were able to deliver great clinical experience, improve their productivity, but also give them access to, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one. I think you're probably more close to the story, but there's also another one I think that you may be familiar with. But I think we're able to give doctors the ability to view images, but in a non-diagnostic fashion. We do understand that there's some regulatory aspects, but they're still able to view imagery in a very, very local-like native experience on pretty much any device that they're on, which is important, right? Because they no longer need to access that on a very expensive machine. They can now just access that from a low-cost endpoint, but still get a really enriched image. And that's like one of the examples of what we're really able to accomplish together within the healthcare space.
Absolutely. A lot of it comes down to what you're doing with those images at that given time. For diagnostic purposes, there's obviously a very different level of requirements, but getting images, getting the clinical information into the hands at the point of delivery of care or in the case of the dental like Turo Dental Clinic, those images are used for many different purposes. It's also a training hospital and helping those studying to become dentists. It's really important that they have access to that, the same level of experience if they're accessing their applications on their desktops through a virtual experience that Citrix and NVIDIA helps to deliver. It's fantastic, and it's a game changer in terms of enabling them with the information at the point of care.
Yeah, and then I think there's another one. We were talking about this earlier about Polyclinic. We were able to work together on and sort of improve the experience of their VDI environment that they're currently running. I think also the same thing that as we're talking through the past 10 minutes or a few minutes, we're improving that clinical experience, right?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic story. And similarly, absolutely, you can Google the Polyclinic Citrix NVIDIA, and you'll find a wonderful user story in terms of what they were able to do. Essentially, Polyclinic, which is up in Washington, about 1,200 employees, 15 different clinics that are part of this multi-specialty. They deployed Citrix alongside Epic, with Dragon, with other business applications as well. What they wanted to set out to do was save costs as well as improve the experience for their users overall. And so what was phenomenal is that they were able to increase the number of users from about 30 per physical box up to 60. So they were able to double the user density at about 2/3 the cost, while at the same time delivering a consistent positive experience for using all those clinical applications. The impact of what that had was transformative for the clinic, and it also set them ready for the future as we start to embrace enterprise imaging and moving beyond just still images, but actually into robust multimedia displays like surgical videos or patient education videos, training videos, being able to deliver that on a GPU accelerated Citrix experience where we can offload that video processing onto the GPU and save that CPU time for delivering the rest of the services from Citrix to those end users has been fantastic. They no longer have to worry about a couple of users spiking the CPU and having an impact on the rest of the users using that physical box. Super awesome, and really set them forward facing for years into the future.
Cool, thanks, Brad. That is a really cool story, and we got plenty of other stories. These are the ones that obviously we understand a lot of customers that we work with want to be really sensitive about publicly speaking on the type of technology that they're running. But these are just a couple of examples of what we are doing in the healthcare space. We have a long list of co-customers. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but joint customers that have leveraged our solutions together to do similar aspects like this and improving clinical experience, end user productivity, just overall delivering the value of accessing technology and patient data and information within the healthcare space.
Yep.
It's great that we're working together so far as we are today. And then we are continuously working together and helping our customers. We're as if we're doing it at Citrix as well. We're moving more towards the cloud. We understand a lot of customers are also maybe looking at that right now. And we are partnering together to ensure that you can do the same type of thing that you were doing with the on-premises data center with now as you start moving workloads to whatever your public cloud of choice is.
Yeah, we're absolutely seeing this hybrid cloud approach, right? So, even if your core data center where you've got your clinical applications, your VDI services, your PACS, your EMR, your business apps, as you start to grow that business up, perhaps you need burstable compute power, or you're running more services during the day and slow down during the night. So being able to connect up into a cloud and be able to deliver those services to your users wherever they happen to be in the world. So whether they're working in the clinic, they're working from home, they're working on the go, being able to access that clinical information in a secure, robust, performant environment is super, super important.
I guess the one thing I want to, so you could highlight for the audience here. So what does NVIDIA do different compared to like what's out there? The different the choices that customers may have when they're looking at a solution. I know we've talked about it, and then a lot of it's been interwoven in what we've already discussed. How you guys are improving experience, admin experience, and administrative aspects of it, but also, I guess, if there was a key thing that you wanted to highlight or anything like that, what's some of the type of stuff like there?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and it's a relatively hard one because this is such a cooperative environment, and what we're doing is we're helping to power the infrastructure that hospitals may use to deliver their virtual desktop experiences. And so where we'd look for contrasting against other other configurations, by being able to provide GPU to offload video processing, we're able to help in terms of the load for those servers. We're looking and working very closely with our clinical application partners on how they can leverage GPU, whether it's physical or virtual, to be able to deliver those services, not only for, like I said, still images, where we're thinking about image quality and frame rate, and the whole user experience when we're like clicking through images, but also when we start to build up, like I said, to the whole enterprise imaging experience, where we're actually going to start to play surgical videos. We're going to start to play, images that we've captured for, like, a great example would be pediatric cardiac ultrasounds, where we actually need to deliver a frame rate much higher than 30 frames a second, where every frame matters. So, in terms of like thinking through where we come into to help in this place, user density, cost savings, working very closely with Citrix on delivering high nines experience, which is super important from the IT department as we start to build up those services that the clinicians, the physicians are depending upon every single day, and also positioning us together for the future. So not only are we going to be looking to deliver VDI services in a hospital environment, but also leveraging that same compute for mixed workloads. So being able to add in AI, artificial intelligence solutions, inference solutions, being able to flex that compute not only between all the different user types in a virtual desktop infrastructure, but also being able to share those resources with other applications that the hospital data center might run. So it's really a part of the entire data center experience, whether it's on-premise, in cloud, hybrid, better together with Citrix and NVIDIA.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Brad. And yeah, again, like this is something that I've had for folks that are not like for folks that are new to Citrix. Like we've worked together. I've worked with you guys for a couple of years when I've been in the current role, and really excited to continue our working together. Is there anything that I may have missed? Was there any sort of technology that you guys were planning on showcasing for the audience here to kind of see the product in action?
Absolutely. We have this phenomenal video that really shows the difference between CPU-only VDI experience contrasted against one that is GPU-powered. So it's if you watch the entire video, it's about 6.5 minutes, but it shows various different applications. But what I'd love to show right now is the difference between CPU-only versus GPU Citrix VDI experience using a medical imaging application and showing the real difference. And once you see it, a couple of things to note. One of the most important things for me is if you think about a CT image, which is every single slice of your body, like 1,000 slices, like something like this. As we scroll through that stack of images, in a CPU-powered experience, we'll see frame misses, and you can actually see that count where it goes frame 23, frame 27, frame 32, frame 33, frame 45. The risk that there is something important on frames that have been skipped, like a small cancerous nodule, something like this, could mean something significant for that patient you're caring for. In the GPU experience, which you'll see just below, as you roll through that same stack of images, being able to see frame 32, frame 33, frame 34, frame 35, every single frame, there isn't a frame loss there. So super meaningful for the experience of clinical applications in the hospital space.
Cool, thanks, Brad. Yeah, no, that'd be really cool to see. And I mean, I think the, to kind of showcase what that technology looks like. I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, it's great. It's another thing to see it in action. Is there anything I'm missing? I know that we could talk on all day about, how we're working together, but if there's anything else that I'm missing, or I didn't, kind of touch on.
I think we've touched on, all of the value props here. I mean, the things that I look for in a clinical experience for physicians, for those using clinical applications, are things like image quality and making sure we don't see pixelization of our medical images. That frame rate that I just had talked about on making sure we're not missing a single frame in a video or in a stream of images. That user experience where it's super important that the CPU isn't taxed as I'm doing things like making measurements. So imagine if I have a nodule that I need to measure how big it is at the moment. When I click on something and move my mouse and click on something else, it is super important that that click is highly responsive. I can't click and then move my mouse and then that's where the click registers. That user experience is super important. Being able to support multi displays is, especially as we start to do this multi-modality where I've got my work list of patients, I've got 2 screens that show images, and I've got another screen that's showing the report. Being able to support my virtual desktop experience across many different screens becomes so important. And then similarly, as we start to go into things like breast tomosynthesis or other high resolution images, being able to experience that in real time on 4K, 8K displays becomes super important. So that whole experience delivered together with Citrix and NVIDIA is super, super important. We touched a little bit on being able to provide enhanced security. We talked about infrastructure costs. We talked about productivity and mobility for our clinicians. And we talked about the hybrid experience, so being able to offer remote work for clinicians and caregivers wherever they happen to be. So yeah, I think we've covered it all.
Cool, yeah. And if there's anything that we haven't covered, you can find out more information on our Citrix Ready website, so citrixready.citrix.com, to learn more about our partnership with NVIDIA. There you can also get a number of resources as well. Brad, if there's anything else that you wanted to add as far as like where folks can get more information as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you could just Google our remote work from home experience. There, we've got a robust website on the virtual GPU experience and how it impacts VDI. There's a number of resources that are available up on the NVIDIA website for sure.
Cool. Again, just to kind of wrap up, thanks everybody for checking out our segment. And again, on how Citrix and NVIDIA is improving the clinical experience within the healthcare space, not only just limited to clinical experience. I mean, We're doing it for a broader, but the most important employee within the space in healthcare, the clinical experience. And this is to kind of highlight what we've done together, and we look forward to working together and kind of continuing our innovation and integration together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.